Well, individually, I mean, Western main battle tanks, and it doesn't matter whether it's the Challenger, the Abrams, or the Leopard. You know, they have overmatch on Russian capabilities in terms of their firepower and certainly protection. They also have, I think, that better optics, better stabilization, so they're better at firing on the move. They're also better at locating and also critically in tank warfare, getting off that first shot. So the tanks will make a real difference, but there's, it's definitely an element of quality over quantity. So Ukraine will still need to decide actually how they use these tanks. You know, do they put them straight into the fight as soon as they're available, or do they integrate them into larger formations, train and rehearse at those larger formations, and spend a bit more time integrating them into the way that they fight to then potentially use in the summer? I mean, we'll certainly see these main battle tanks used in Europe this year to probably great effect, because we also, all of these tanks were designed, going back into the early 80s to be used in Eastern Europe in under those conditions. They were not meant for the conditions of Iraq and Afghanistan where they found themselves in the last 20 years. Vor der Tribüne sehen Sie den Kampfpanzer Charlie 2 des Panzerzugs über die Anhöhe hinweg angreifen. The protection that a Western main battle tank provides means that there's a better chance of surviving a hit yourself. And the issue with Russian tanks is a pretty significant design flaw, is that they don't compartmentalize their ammunition storage within the tank itself. And that's why you've seen a lot of footage of a top attack from an NLAW or a Javelin anti-tank guided weapon system hitting the top turret of a tank, which ordinarily might not destroy the tank, but it causes the ammunition to cook off and then therefore destroys the whole tank. Western systems don't have that disadvantage, and they have a variety of countermeasures. Their armor is much better, so they should be able to withstand some of the hits that have taken out Russian tanks up until now. Well, a tank provides you firepower, mobility, and protection, and good levels of all three, which are critical to offensive operations to be able to punch through enemy lines, but also critical for defensive positions, because you essentially could create a ready-made fort with enough tanks around an objective because of the combination of all three. So they're still really important. The issue with tanks is they need to be used in a certain way. They're not military equipment that can be used in isolation. They need infantry support. If you use them with infantry fighting vehicles, it allows the infantry to stay ahead and up with the armor so they can move at pace. They still rely on artillery, air defense for protection, etc. So it's kind of, you need to see a tank as a piece in the jigsaw, which now is sort of almost the last piece in the jigsaw that Ukraine needs to do the offensive. Yeah, and I think that'll be the next issue, and again, it will follow the sort of narrative of the tank debate, that sort of it'll slowly build and build and build. Then there'll be more serious discussions. There'll be a lot of inventory looking at in the West to see what types of equipment is available, and it's exactly the same with the tanks, that as air forces in Europe and the US modernize, they have older equipment that they potentially could give to Ukraine. It'd be another escalatory measure, but I think at the moment what they want to do is see how Ukraine get on with the tanks and then assess from there. So it'll certainly be on the agenda for future Ramstein meetings, and you'll see that pressure build. But at the moment, I wouldn't expect any decisions on that quickly at all. But then in terms of wider escalation with Russia, I mean, again, we haven't seen escalation after Finland and Sweden applied to join NATO. We did not see escalation when Kherson fell in September, October last year. And also, this follows Russia's illegal annexation of those territories. So according to Putin, Kherson is a Russian regional city. Again, no escalation. I think the main escalation point, and particularly red line escalation point, is the status of Crimea. And if that is military threatened at any point, which I suspect will be probably around this summer, then that is an escalation point. But I don't think main battle tanks, even if they increase in numbers, even if they get to that 300 threshold, I don't see it as a significant escalation point.